All right, here we are.
Here we are. Hi.
Ta-da.
Thanks for sitting through that long story.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I have liquid, I have fan, we're good. But I couldn't miss seeing you guys today.
Yeah.
So, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So we got Jessica Stavros. Stavros. You got me in my head.
it.
I had it down.
Did it.
And then you're like, executive director at Liberty Hall's historic site, as well as Jayne Henderson Goddard, who is an architectural historian. And we're going to talk about a presentation that she's doing at the library. But this is all about Frankfort Heritage Week,
Hey.
which is a huge event here in town. And like we said, this is when things are happening
Yep.
in Frankfort. May 7th through 13th. Is our window for Frankfort Heritage Week. I know, Jessica, you've got some stuff kicking off even sooner than that, but we want to focus on what's going on here in a couple weeks. But
Tell us everything.
well, maybe not everything, but I'm just kidding.
Well, I did just want to interject about the children's book.
Oh, please.
Oh. Yeah.
Liberty Hall is the home of the Brown family, John and Margaretta Brown,
Yeah.
and their direct descendant, who as a young child spent time at Liberty Hall, is Margaret Wise Brown,
Okay.
who wrote Goodnight Moon,
Okay.
Runaway Bunny,
Yeah.
and hundreds of children's books. So she's a very famous children's author.
Well, there you go.
What about Encyclopedia Brown? Was he?
Now, he was my dude.
Okay. I mean, he was one of my favorites too.
He was my
I
dude.
didn't know if he had any relation or not.
But thanks for having us. It
Yeah.
really means a lot. And obviously, Liberty Hall is a center of historic preservation for Frankfort, and that's really the basis of how Frankfort Heritage Week starts and Preservation Month. So we're really glad to be a part of it. And we really wanted to do something that we don't normally do. So we still have our tours, and of course, but we've added 3 different events. One is a talk on Thursday night. I think it's the 10th or the 11th, Thursday the 11th. And it's at 6 o'clock with Dr. Stephen Walker, who has written the first book about John Brown and his life at Liberty Hall. So we really consider him one of Frankfort's founding fathers, and so he's giving his talk specific to the Brown influence on the founding and early years of Frankfort's development. So that will be on Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday, May 11th at 6 p.m.
On Saturday, we have a really fun event that is, we're doing an exhibit opening called Memories from Light, and it is an exhibit about the historic photography in the Liberty Hall collection. So daguerreotypes, ambrotypes, tintypes.
Oh, wow.
And so not only will we showcase the various things in our collection, but we also have a talk and actual portrait sessions where you can come and sit and have your
Really?
tintype made
Oh, that's cool.
in the parlor of the Orlando Brown House.
Nice.
So we're really excited about that.
And when is that?
That is on Saturday, the 13th.
Okay.
So on
Yes.
that one, it says that costumes are encouraged,
Yes.
which is
Well,
cool.
And this is like not like Gatlinburg, right? Like
Right.
the old
Right.
slates
Yeah.
where it's
Right.
kind of negative, kind of reverse,
Yeah.
you know. So I would encourage costumes. Put your best outfit on and
Right.
sit in the parlor in a grand chair and have your tintype made. How cool.
But it does say pre-registration is required.
Yes, there are only so many slots.
LibertyHall.org if
That's
you want
it.
to do that. Okay. Awesome.
And then the last thing we have going on is something called Mother's Garden, which Liberty Hall has nearly 5 acres of public gardens. It's open every day of the year. And there's a section of the garden that connects Liberty Hall with the Orlando Brown house. And Orlando Brown was the second son of John and Margaretta. So not only is Mother's Garden the physical connection between the two houses, but it's also a symbolic connection between generations of family who have their roots in a place. So for Heritage Week, we are doing something called Mother's Garden, which is going on now until Mother's Day. And you can, for a donation, have a plant planted in Mother's Garden in honor of the mother figure in your life. And so they will be planted in that section, and you can come remember or share stories.
Yeah.
And then on Mother's Day in the evening, we're doing a twilight dedication, a candlelight ceremony for those who are planted in the
I
garden.
love that. That is
Yeah.
so cool.
Well, you know, your heritage, a lot of that comes from the women in your life,
Sure.
whether they're your mothers or your grandmothers or aunties or things
Right.
like that. So
Yeah.
it's just one way for us to honor how we receive that heritage every season.
Sure. I know we appreciate how Liberty Hall gets involved in the community, brings people
yeah.
in, and the garden is beautiful.
Yeah.
We were out at the Earth Day celebration Saturday.
did, yeah.
We were out there, and Liberty Hall was there, and they had the cutest setup. They had taken clippings from the garden.
Wow.
And sticks, and you could come and you could take a stick and use clippings from the garden, the flowers and stuff, and make a flower wand. And then you could go through the garden and try to identify what was on your wand in the garden.
Oh,
it was
that's
so
And
cool.
that is really to honor our greatest mother of all,
Yeah.
Mother Earth.
Mother Earth.
Sure.
Yeah, so that was great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How'd you like that?
Yeah. So,
that-
again, we appreciate Liberty Hall and everything
course.
they do.
Yeah. So it sounds like you'll have some great events set up for that week. Again, May 7th through 13th is Frankfort Heritage Week. All right, Jayne, it's your turn.
Okay.
You are presenting at the public library, Paul Sawyer Public Library, on May 8th. The Singing Bridge, a structure that speaks to us all. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I've worked as a preservation professional for, I don't want to say quite how long, it will date me, but back in the 1980s, I worked with the Department of Transportation in their environmental division. And as bridges were declared historic across the state, they did historic surveys and identified probably almost 100 bridges at the time that were eligible for the National Register. So anytime the Transportation Cabinet, Federal Highway Administration was getting ready to remove those bridges, they had to document them in a certain way. And we would document them with a large format camera and lots of documentation and send it into the National Park Service Historic American Engineering Record, which is a wonderful place. And that's how I got hooked on bridges.
Yeah.
And living in Frankfort for quite a while now, just always fascinated with the Singing Bridge. And there are files, historic digital files, both in the UK library or UK holdings, as well as other places, U of L, other schools and things. And found, in doing some of my research, I've found some awesome historic photographs. My favorite is the one that they took in 1893 when the bridge was being built. And you could actually see people there from the bridge company working on the bridge. I think I sent you guys a picture. There's actually a lady standing in there. I couldn't tell if it was a lady or a man in an overcoat. But there's another fellow standing on the very top cord of the bridge as he's up there riveting and pinning the thing.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's just, once I found that, I said, okay, I'm in for good. I've got to do way more research. And so I found, I think with the talk, if people come and see it, I have probably about 30 or 40. Some postcards, some historic. It's been such a landmark in Frankfurt for so many years. It is one of the few, the King Bridge Company was the one that constructed it from Cleveland. And it is one of the few pin-connected late 19th century bridges left in Kentucky, one of the oldest.
Yeah.
Up in Ohio, where King Bridge Company built a lot of bridges, they have quite a few more. But I don't think Kentucky has quite that many more. I need to do a little more research and find out what we have left.
Yeah.
But King Bridge Company was the second most prolific bridge company. I think there was another one called Champion that built at least 70 or 80 historic bridges in Kentucky, and King, I think, ended up building almost 20. So, but we've documented quite a few of them. I did that myself back in the 80s.
Right.
And it's fascinating stuff how they produce these things. The city would hire, they would realize they needed, the first bridge at that location was a covered bridge back in the 1850s.
Yeah.
I've got pictures of that.
I love my Paul Sawyer print.
I
of the
know, I
covered
love it.
bridge,
I
yeah.
love it. Lots of beautiful things with that. And so back when they realized that during flood times, steamboats couldn't get under that bridge. So the federal government said to the city of Frankfurt, you need a higher bridge, and you need a metal one, not wood. And so they hired King, and that's the way cities would do it. They would find a bridge company they liked. The company would come down, do the measurements, go back to the Cleveland factory, build the parts, then ship the parts back down. And it was so precise that they hired local people, a lot of times, local workers, to actually help them put the bridge together. And that's what's so fascinating about that picture, is that you see all these local guys, and they're so proud of themselves building this bridge.
Yeah.
And so I've just had a lot of fun with research for this thing. It's
Absolutely.
It's something that you just can't quite give up.
It's a great name for your talk.
Thank you. I used to. I have a lot of history at that location. My first professional job in Frankfort, was with the Kentucky Heritage Council in '77. They were located at the old YMCA.
Oh, wow.
We had offices where you could open the windows and hear the ducks on the river. We could hear the bridge singing to us
I wish
as
it was
cars
still
went across.
able to do that. Yeah.
Another love of mine, that old building. I wish it could be saved.
Yeah.
But it was the greatest location to have a job.
Of course,
Just
yeah.
wonderful. Right downtown. We walked downtown to eat.
Sure.
And great, lots of good memories there.
Well, the Singing Bridge is like the staple of downtown Frankfort.
It is.
It's just
It
like
is, yeah.
when you see that, you know where you are.
And Frankfurt should be very proud that they have it and maintain it. I mean,
Right.
there's no way that bridge is going anywhere.
Right.
So,
Right. Well,
preservation is tops with them.
I think this will be a very interesting event for people to attend and get the information.
I hope
and,
so. I hope
and
so.
to pass it on. That's the important thing.
That's the important
Yeah.
part. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Get young people interested in it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Jayne, your presentation is on Monday, May 8th at 6 p.m.
Right.
At the
library.
At the library in the river.
Right.
Right there.
So, and they
I'm
ask for
excited.
folks to register for that too if they want to attend.
Exactly.
But that sounds like a great event. So,
I think for all of the events for Heritage Week, any registration you could do in
Yeah,
advance
sure.
is a great help to anyone putting on the event.
yeah.
So
That's a
go to
great point.
frankfortheritageweek.com for all of the information and about how you can register for events and complete list of everything going on, because it'll be a great week. I appreciate you all being here.
Thank
So,
you.
so
Yeah.
we got Jessica's pick for her
Oh, yeah.
favorite
book.
childhood book. Jayne, do you have any that you want to?
The one of the historic one of the building the bridge probably would be
Okay.
my favorite
Did
one.
you have a particular book?
My favorite children's book?
Or just any book when you were a child?
Oh gosh.
Didn't have to be children's.
you know, when I was 10, and I get it for any 10-year-old I know,
Yeah.
The Westing Game
Oh,
was
okay.
my favorite.
Okay.
Mysteries, Encyclopedia
I
Brown.
don't know
any-
that one. That sounds
solving
really,
any
I'll
kind
have
of
to look it
mystery.
up.
It's
It's on the list.
Well,
All right.
thank you all so much for being here.
It's
Thank you
always
so much
fun
for
to be
having
here.
us.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Just have to come back.
We will.
Anytime.
We will.